Oh me, oh my. Oh. Ay, 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 ay. I've got to say, that was quite lackluster. I I don't know why. I don't know why I expected more. I don't know why I expected better. I really expected him to at least I mean, I guess I was going to say at least I expected him to admit it. I'm about to play you a clip. He eventually kind of did. I don't know how he kind of admitted it at the very end, but still tried to remain firm with his bullshittery. And I've got to say, maybe the worst part, well, it's not worse than lying about cancer, but one of the worst things is just how selfish and what a terrible friend he has been to Keem and to everybody that he shares this podcast with. He has absolutely no care or concern about how it how it makes anybody else look. Like, oy vey. He's such a disgusting, animalistic, grotesque, petulant infant. Like, yikes. Let's play this clip though. This is the part where he finally admits it. And this is when it's about to be 5 minutes to end. Let's just watch this clip together. Let's listen to this.
I told you,
It's
I
not
spent the
on there.
last so high. We could probably get him the fucking
So
code.
Vera's not
where they
on there.
put it in-
Vera's not on the portal.
I don't know, man.
It's not.
I can send you
You
a bunch
do
of stuff.
know. It's
I
You
not.
said 4 days ago you were looking at
Yeah,
it. But you
4
weren't gonna
days ago you said
screenshot
you were
it.
looking at it.
like
So
I
it's
told you,
it's
I
not
spent
on
the
there.
last like I told you, I spent the last 2 years getting treated for it. I've been told by my doctor for the last
It's
2 years.
fine,
this is
Boogie.
fake.
Just admit it's not on the portal.
It's not on there. I told you this.
Okay,
I told
thank
I have to
you.
do the so high. We can probably
No, he never told anybody it wasn't on the portal. He said a million times over and over and over again that he was standing firm, that this is for him. Like me, oh my. I can't. And in the beginning, it was so disgusting. Why is this the tactic? Like, even I spoke about Destiny and, his disgusting tweets and opinions from before. But why is it the tactic online and seemingly everywhere else? Why is the tactic always to try and character assassinate? Like, to try and, I don't know, disprove the valid claims that somebody is making. Like, yeah, okay, Destiny has a lot of problems. He's had a lot of weird takes, a lot of that doesn't change the fact that he called Boogie out and opened up this whole can of worms and was correct at the end of the day. Like, how do people not understand that nothing Destiny has ever done or said is going to change or invalidate that fact? Like, how ridiculous can you get? I don't know, man. This was a lot. And I don't like, did you hear the way Keem talked about? And oh my God, I don't even know where to begin because there's so much. How disgusting, how disgusted I felt when he had his young, tiny girlfriend come online. At this point, like, I know me and Kayla had the conversation. Yeah, dude, Becca says, can I say how I'm even more grossed out by the girlfriend? She's a little girl to me. Like, I know she's 20, but she's so young sounding. It's because she is young. She may be 20 now, but when they got together, she was 19. Keep in mind that he is 50. He's 49. He could be her father. Almost, no, definitely twice over. He could be her fucking father twice over. That relationship is already predatory in nature if we're just basing it on age alone. But when you watch that documentary and you hear the way he talks about her and you see a little bit of a window into that relationship, it becomes even more clear that that is definitely a predatory relationship. Like me, oh my. He's a disgusting individual. He's a disgusting individual. Kayla says, I can't believe he tried not to come up. Yo, I almost forgot that, Kayla. I don't know how. I'm so glad you reminded me of that because I was so pissed off in the beginning. When we talked about this earlier today, I never even considered that an option. That never even crossed my mind that there was even an a percentage, a chance that he wasn't going to show up. I don't know why I didn't even consider that. But when it looked like he wasn't even going to show up, I was about to lose my mind. Oh me, oh my. He's a despicable human being. And I've got to say, I am so glad that Muda was there, especially towards the end. He was absolutely the voice of reason. Now, I mean, a little part of me can understand where Keem is coming from. He is bending backwards to try and be a good friend, to try and be supportive of Boogie. And while I can appreciate that from a human standpoint, like Keem trying to be a good friend, it's a fool's errand because Boogie is such a shitty person and a shitty friend himself. Boogie doesn't give a fuck what happens to that podcast, doesn't give a fuck what happens to Keem or anybody else's reputation as a result of this. Like, I'm sorry to say, but lying about cancer is not something that people soon forget. Like, that's a pretty serious fucking infraction. Ugh. Becca says, it's just horrific. You know, he's manipulated her. She was a fan too. We can see it. Like, it's not even an assumption or a maybe or an if. You can genuinely see him actively emotionally manipulating her in the very short time that they appeared in that documentary. And you know how in a documentary or when you're being filmed, it's going to show like the highlight reel. So if that's the fucking highlight reel and that's what they're willing to show on camera, I can't even imagine what occurs behind the scenes. Like, oy vey. And I'll say this 20 and 49, whatever he isn't always going to be a predatory relationship, not just of its essence because of the age range. Like, I'm not that type of person. It's legal, whatever. Just because of the age range, that doesn't make it predatory in and of itself. But once you see the kind of 20 that she is and the kind of 49 that he is, that's when it becomes very clear that it is a predatory fucking relationship. Yikes. Kayla says, Keem is running a business based on 3 humans. Yeah, and it seems like this is the craziest factor to me. Not only in these live streams where they're talking about Boogie faking cancer, but in the entirety of the for the entirety of the podcast in general, it is so clear that Keem seems to be the only one who gives a shit about this other man making money and being able to pay his mortgage or whatever. It really seems like he's the only one who fucking cares, which is crazy. Like, you know, the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. It's like, listen, I applaud Keem for trying constantly over and over again with Boogie, but it's like, how long are you going to try, especially at detriment to your own self and potentially your own reputation online?
We give him the fucking
So
code.
Vera's not
where they
on there.
put it in-
Ooh,
Vera's
wait.
not on the portal.
I don't know, man.
Why did that just start playing again out of nowhere? That was weird. Becca says it's so gross, like she's got no real world experience. Yes, and you know what? That's why I say the kind of 20 that she is makes all the difference in the world to me. It seems as though he purposely took advantage of this girl because she has no real world experience. This is a beautiful young girl with her entire life in front of her. And she is wasting her potentially her best years with this fat, lying, fucking immoral, grotesque loser who doesn't even care enough about himself or his own friends to tell the truth or to fucking act right on the only platform where he's capable of making any amount of money. Like, oh my God. No Neck Mama says the guy's a scumbag. I don't even know if scumbag is a strong enough word at this point. He's just pathetic. And this is we talk about a lot of pathetic people, especially on this channel. And I really, my eyes have been opened in such a way where why is it that some of the most pathetic people can end up being the most dangerous and the most dishonest? Like, oh my God. Ay, ay, ay. um, Kayla says which is exactly why she will back him up and go with the lie. She does not care if it's a lie or not. See, did you remember when you and I had this conversation earlier in the last live stream when I was listening to her speak and listening to the things that she said? Absolutely, you're 100% right. I got that feeling immediately while watching her. She's just going with the flow. She said it basically herself that she has no choice. She's just going to support him. No matter what he does, no matter what he says, she's just going to support him. She has to support him. And the truth is she really has no choice because she is financially beholden to him. What does this girl have to speak of in terms of shelter, in terms of security without him? She has nothing. That, to me, it is things like that that make the relationship predatory as well. This is such, and I don't know how people around him don't see that for what it is. It's like I heard in this live stream, people have given him hell about, oh, they thought she was underage. What the hell does the year make a difference? She's still a 20-year-old that is a child. Do you know what I mean? There are certain people, depending on where you grew up or how you grew up or the sheltered life you live, you can be 21 and still have a child's mind. Do you know what I mean? I think those things mean way more than the actual number on your fucking birth chart. You know what I mean? Is she an orphan? I don't know if I would use the word orphan, but I think it's been communicated publicly that she doesn't have family to lean on. I know she said she didn't grow up with a father. I don't know the situation with her mother, but clearly, like if she had strong parental guidance or a strong parental security system, would she be where she's at with Boogie? The answer is no. So I think we can deduce that the answer is probably definitely no. Becca says, I think he has her believing his lies. He could have easily told her, and she is so naive that she would believe him. Yes, I agree with you, Becca. And what I deduce from the conversation that they had with her on stream tonight, it seems as though she too doesn't understand why he wasn't willing to show his portal to make that amount of money. It seems like she didn't know he was lying, and that she also didn't understand why he wasn't willing to show the proof that they were asking for to make that amount of money that he so desperately needs, allegedly. But she basically communicated that she has no choice, that she has to support him. She can't fight with him. I think she said those words exactly. Kayla says, very childlike seemingly. Yes, man. Do you agree with me though? Like, I hope you guys understand what I'm saying with when I'm talking in terms of someone being childlike regardless of their age number. To me that means way more than the actual number of her being 20. To me, her age may be 20, but she functions like a 15-year-old. Like I compare it to myself. She behaves, she carries herself, she has the confidence of me when I was fucking 15. like I judge it. I'm comparing it to myself when I was a 20-year-old. I was a very different 20-year-old than the girl we saw on screen tonight. She is a child. Yes, I agree with you. Jag Girl says, my youngest son is almost 21 and still a child to me anyway. But it's not even to you. Some people are just children. People are going to, what's the word I'm looking for? People mature. People mature at very different rates. She did say those words. I know. She said them verbatim. Yeah, she looks very young. They said in stream, and I didn't know this. I had never caught this before, Becca, but they talked about it in stream where a couple of his friends, she looked so young to them that they were not believing his claims that she was of age. And they criticized him because they said to him, oh, when we didn't believe you that she was of age, you had no problem sending us proof of her fucking state ID. Why was that not crossing the line and that was private? Why was that A-okay? But your fucking fictitious health records, that's a line too far? Like, Jesus Christ. Kayla says, seeing them kiss made me really sad. For me too. Me too. Like, I can't even look at it. I feel so sorry for her. Somebody needs to fucking save her. Somebody needs to save her in a big, bad way. What makes me even sadder is that some of the things that she's communicated, her behavior and their relationship dynamic, it makes it pretty apparent to me that she is seeking a father figure. And she has found that in Boogie, and he is more than fucking happy and willing to take full advantage of that fact. Like, gross. And to be honest with you, like, I know the topic of conversation for everybody here and everybody else on the internet is, oh, Boogie faked cancer. I don't know about you guys, but if you know anything about Boogie, I'm not surprised by this at all. This is his MO. This is what he does. And I think that's what Keem was trying to kind of get at when he was kind of trying to defend himself to Muda, when he was like, but this is LolCal Live, because Muda was giving him a hard time being like, you cannot support him by keeping him on the show any longer. It's a bad look for you morally. It's a bad look for your character, for your reputation. And what Keem was saying, I think, was he was like, but this is LolCal Live. Everybody knows what they're coming and tuning in for. Everybody knows who Boogie is, who he's always been. I, frankly, am not shocked, even in the slightest, that he lied about cancer. He is a perpetual victim. Just the way that he talks about himself. He's victimizing himself. I forgot who did it, but somebody called him out and was like, why is it never I fucked up? Oh, I messed up. I was wrong and I'm sorry. I forgot. Does anybody remember who did this? But I was so happy when they did. Somebody finally fucking called him out on his perpetual fucking victimhood and was like, why is everything always somebody else's fucking fault? And it's like, at what point? Because how much do you like, because you can't try and hold his friends accountable for his actions, but at what point do they become part of the problem for enabling his behavior? Because this is the truth. I understand what Keem's doing, and I understand what he was saying to Muda and saying this is LolCal Live, this is who Boogie's always been. But do you know what kind of a lesson? Do you know what kind of bad behavior this is going to further reinforce in Boogie as a human being if he is allowed to get away with this scot-free? And this is what really fucked me up. After spending hours on stream lying, making his friends look like shit, while simultaneously blaming them, further trying to victimize himself for his friends calling out his bullshit lies, he was also trying to brag about how much viewership this has brought to the channel, and how in the long run his lie about cancer is going to, be financially beneficial for all of them. That was one of the most disgusting things that he said. It's his fucking attitude on top of everything. It is so fucking grotesque and disgusting. You know what's fucked up? Creasy says he deserves to get exactly everything he lies about. Do you know, I disagree, Creasy. Do you want to know why? Because Boogie is that rare type of sick fuck individual that I fear that if he ever did get something as severe as cancer, imagine. Can you even fucking imagine how he would milk that? How he would really play victim? He would make a fucking vlog every day about how much his cancer is acting up and how much he's in pain and how much money he's spending to fucking treat it, etc. That would be his happiest fucking day if he ever got cancer. Like, if you know who Boogie is, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. That's the kind of sick fuck that he is. Becca says, I see myself at that age in her. Like, I was very sheltered and I am autistic, so adjusting to adulthood was hard. Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? I feel like he has taken full advantage of somebody just like that. And that's what makes it all the more predatory in my mind. Kayla says, I'm not surprised, still disgusted though. Yeah, I mean, at this point, he should not be respected. Like, you don't respect somebody for the length of time that they've been a piece of shit on the internet. And another thing too, like, you remember when that I forgot his name, but do you remember when that kid came on in the beginning and they kicked him because they said his voice was annoying? I think that's an interesting conversation to have. Like, they said he didn't have his ducks in a row. He didn't have clips lined up to back up his statements. But I think it's an interesting and important conversation to have, because even I question the validity of his abuse claims from the past. If somebody, once you learn that somebody is willing to lie about something as severe as fucking cancer, and also to use that fictitious cancer as the excuse for why it was a-okay to sell a fraudulent fucking crypto coin to their audience, it becomes pretty clear that they're willing to lie about anything. It makes you question, like, if you're willing to lie about cancer, what aren't you willing to lie about? And like I said, it's his MO to paint himself the victim and to sympathy bait online. So everything for me comes into question. I'm sorry. It just does. And I'm going to check out that guy's video. As much as everyone said he was annoying and his mic was fucked up and his voice was annoying, I'm definitely personally going to be checking out his videos. If he has clips of Boogie absolutely contradicting himself with his abuse claims, I'd be very interested to fucking hear that. Because that wouldn't surprise me fucking either, not even a little bit. Eric says that girl looked so young. It was so gross when he kissed her with his big fat stomach caressing her. Yo, how funny was it? Somebody in chat said they looked like the number 10. It was so accurate and amazing. Shadow Hair says, dude, he wouldn't surviving colorectal, or as he called it, a cancer. Oh, ass cancer. Dude, I started getting really uncomfortable and really annoyed because there were times where, like when his brother came on and he was obviously just more lip service, more defending Boogie and talking bullshit to try and make him look better than he does. And thank God to those who were there to call out his shit immediately. Also, shout out to Wings of Redemption. He was pretty constant and quick with it to call out the bullshit. I know he was the one who called out the brother, being like, of course, your brother's going to defend you. That's your brother. And it was so crazy to me. Boogie trying to say that an epidemiologist, a fucking doctoral, fucking like a doctorate program is very different from a fucking medical doctor. The fact that the brother ever came online and painted himself as a doctor who can speak with any fucking with any weight on medical issues is so fucking ridiculous to me. Like, how dare you? He has as much knowledge and fucking expertise in the medical field with his doctorate as fucking you and I do. Like, blow it out your ass, please and thank you. Taluya says, it seems like lying is the go-to merely for convenience. Yes, Taluya, I agree with you. And while I'll say again, while I understand what Keem is doing, I understand the argument he was making in that this is Locale Live. Everybody knows who Boogie was. They know what to expect. Like, behavior such as this, lying to this degree, it needs to be punished, or else it will only teach Boogie that lying about something this fucking severe gets rewarded in the long run. You're not doing yourself a fucking favor by passively attaching yourself to somebody of this caliber, and you're also not doing him a favor by teaching him that fucking lesson and enabling that behavior. At the end of the day, Becca says he lied about his sister. He has said she touched him, but then retracted that statement because I think she saw it and was upset. This is what I'm saying, Becca. This is what I'm saying. I am definitely going to be searching out that. Does anybody remember his name? I can't remember it off the cuff right now. The guy they kicked off. I know Tommy C was like speaking for him and saying he had great videos. As soon as we're done here on this live stream, I'm going to go be watching his videos. Should we do it together? Maybe we should. I got to figure out what his name was because I think Tommy C said that he has videos where he plays the clips of him contradicting himself entirely about his claims of abuse. And that wouldn't surprise me at all if that's the case, Becca. That is absolutely within his fucking playbook to lie about something, but then to so gross. You can't trust somebody like this. Big Bungie, that's his name. All right, hold on. Let me look up his videos. We're gonna watch them together. Hold on. Let me unshare Twitter. And where can no. Come on, hurry up. Okay. Big Bungie is his name. I hope I spelled it right. Wait, it's an H3H3 podcast highlights? Hold on. Let me make sure. Big Bungie. Wait, why did one of his channels, one of his channels says H3H3 highlights. Hold on, let me show you guys. Let me show you guys what I'm looking at. And you can help me select which is appropriate. Okay, look at this one. You see the top? This one says at H3H3 podcast highlights. 56.7. That's his channel, right? See, that doesn't seem right to me. Although this seems to be the right channel. All right, let's look at his most recent. Is this a fucking H3 podcast highlights channel? All right, I would assume it's in one of his most recent. Yes. Okay, the Untold Crimes of Boogie 2988. This is what we're going to watch, guys.
Let's get it out of the way. Boogie 2988 is first and foremost a fat man. Boogie used to be very well liked and successful YouTuber. At one point, he was known as the Mr. Rogers of YouTube. Now, if you're British like me and you don't
Yo, oh, whoa, I gotta plug in my, oh shit. Hurry up. I gotta plug in my computer. Saved. Saved by the bell. Anyway, do you guys remember there was a short time where Boogie was doing extremely well? He was incredibly well liked, and he was known as the fat nice guy that just wanted everybody to get along. Do you guys remember when he was pretty well liked? And then he started, oh my God, I don't know what made him do this. Maybe it's self-destructive nature, but it seems as though things were going just too good for him. And then he started, talking all this shit, painting himself as a victim here and there and everywhere, sharing some really controversial opinions, being really nasty to people who didn't deserve it.
know what that means. The British equivalent would be he's the Jimmy Savile of YouTube. Boogie is an emotional parasite. He feeds on the pity of others. In pursuit of this goal, he is known to completely fabricate tragic backstories in order to make himself look as sad and pathetic as possible. True story. I had a depressed friend crashing at my place back in the mid-90s for a few months after a terrible breakup she went through. One night, she woke me up so I could take her to the ER. Her wrists were slashed very deeply. My bathtub was filled with blood. She had failed to cut deep enough, though, and didn't bleed out enough to die, and decided to get help instead. She didn't lose enough blood to die. Only a bathtub full of blood. Only 70 gallons.
I don't believe stories like that he tells at all. And let me just say, if he is telling the truth, there is something so fucking disgusting about using somebody else's traumatic story for, I don't know what kind of internet ass pats he was looking for, but he was obviously looking for some kind. Who would share that fucking story? Especially about somebody else's, like, ugh.
Tons of blood. That's very survivable. That happens to me all the time, I get a paper cut and lose about 4 to 5 liters of blood. She was broke and stole money from my wallet to buy box cutters to do the job. She didn't want to steal very much money, though, so she got the cheapest possible box cutter, and it wasn't strong or sharp enough to get the job done. Her desire to not steal my money saved her life, all because she took a 10 instead of a 20 out of my wallet. A box.
That is such a ridiculous fucking tale. I can't even, that is, oh my God. That is 100% he's fucking lying. Did you just hear that story he fucking read? I am so uncomfortably disturbed right now.
Cutter worth $10
and embarrassed for him.
can't cut skin. Some would say that was a crippling design flaw. A lot of people didn't believe this story because it's, obviously not true. So he starts going into people's Twitter DMs and calling them stalkers and bullies for not believing the story of when a woman lost 70 gallons of blood and survived. One of the things that Boogie never shuts.
Again, I said this earlier in stream, but why is it most of the time these pathological liar types, why are they always such terrible fucking liars? I thought the more you do something, the better at it you're supposed to get. Why does that never apply when it comes down to pathological liars? They're always so terrible at it.
The fuck up about is how he was suicidal in 2019.
But yeah, for those of you who don't know, I had the intention of killing myself on my birthday of July 24th, 2019.
Keemstar organized a call with a bunch of big YouTubers to try and give Boogie an intervention, but eventually most of the people he told came to realize he was just fucking with them and wasn't actually going to do it.
I put together a group chat of 50 YouTubers. I'm talking
We filled it to the max.
Think of the biggest YouTubers on the platform. They were in there. Clown was in there. Chad was in there. And our whole goal was to stop Boogie from killing himself.
Okay,
all right?
we can't leave that in.
Why?
Yo, see, this is why I'm so disgusted with Boogie as a person and as a friend. Keem, say what you want about Keem, but Keem has been a consistently really good and caring friend to Boogie for so goddamn long. And this is just proof positive to me that Boogie has no qualms about emotionally manipulating the people who treat him the best in his life. Like, he was 100% emotionally manipulating Keem. Keem believed it. Keem absolutely believed that he was willing to.
All right, that's fine.
It's public. Boogie made it public.
All right, yeah, true.
Okay, it's totally fine. He told everyone over the summer, this last summer, 2019, he was going to kill himself. So we decided that we would save him. Every single one of us took time out of our days, talked to him on the phone for hours.
My time, the time out of my day was, don't listen to these retards in the group chat. Go see a therapist, you fat prick.
Regardless, we spent hours and hours talking to him. And he would not take any of our advice. And it became very clear that this dude wanted attention. He liked people calling him and talking to him on the phone, trying to help him more than actually fixing the problem. And that's what he was seeking. He was seeking someone to talk to.
Boogie be like, I'm going to kill myself. Hunger strike. Okay, see you in fucking 6 years, mate.
And after this, he snaked Keem when the H3 content nuke came around. And that's what you get for trying to be nice to Boogie.
You're a sick, twisted, manipulated.
Do you guys, like, have you ever experienced somebody like that in your life? There is nothing more abusive that I've personally ever experienced than somebody that you genuinely care for. And I don't give a flying fuck what the reason is. I don't give a fuck what they need, be it attention, I don't give a fuck. There's nothing crueler that you can do to someone that cares about you than to scare them into potentially thinking that you would kill yourself. Like, I have no respect for people who bait in that way. I really don't.
Motherfucker that was willing to go and stop criticism on you by threatening to kill yourself.
Suicide
what
is
kind of
badass.
selfish, manipulating fuck are you? Oh, iDubbbz, if you make a content cop on me, I'm going to kill myself. Like, you literally said that to him. You said that to all of his friends. You said it to every YouTuber you fucking knew, so you would spread the word out to try to stop criticism. Big Daddy, I'll be a big boy.
Boogie has absolutely zero qualms with baiting suicide in order to mitigate criticism. He went into the DMs of a fake iDubbbz account.
Yeah, I mean, no, he doesn't. And that was proven in the live stream from the other day. How many times did he bait with self-deletion? And then when he was called out for it, he was like, no, that's not what I'm doing. When it was clear that's exactly what he was fucking doing.
To preemptively prevent a content cop. After realizing this was a fake account, he approached iDubbbz at VidCon and told him that he was going to kill himself if iDubbbz made a video on him. To which iDubbbz apparently replied, "Fuck off. You have the easiest job in the world." After Turkey Tom made a video on him, he went into his DMs and told Tom that his video made him want to kill himself.
Do you want to know the worst part about it? Jagirl says, anyone who is serious about deleting themselves tells no one. That's not always true, but I've got to say the worst part about people who bait in that way is most people, they're going to be afraid to call your bluff in case you are being serious. It is one of the most absolutely disgusting things that you can do to another person. Even if you've done it 100 times, even on that 101st time, they are still going to be afraid to be like, you know what? You've done this a million fucking times. I'm not dealing with this anymore. Out of fear that this is the time you actually mean it. It is so fucking abusive and manipulative. Oy.
After he told the Quartering he was going to kill himself, a welfare check was called in on Boogie, which Boogie then claimed was a selfish and vile action taken against him.
My first time talking about it publicly, but because I don't trust this person, because I've told them everything in DMs, and they decided to call in a welfare check on me that involved the cops showing up at my house, paramedics showing up at my house, the fire department coming into the house, in the middle of a date, by the way. All of this is happening in the middle of a date tonight, by the way. Here's what I told him. I told him, that all of this shit is making me suicidal, and I didn't want to fucking kill myself. That I might kill myself in a month. I might kill myself when I take care of my other shit. But I don't want to.
You know what else I notice as well? And this is from my own experience. People who are serious and struggle with like suicidal ideation, they don't talk about it the way that Boogie does. When they're talking about or recounting the feelings that they've had, they cry. It's such an emotional thing to recount, to remember, to re-experience. And the way that he talks about it so flippantly, from that alone, I can tell that he does it purely for manipulation tactics and for selfish fucking attention seeking reasons. Like he doesn't how does he not wouldn't you imagine that if somebody was going to be a malicious, terrible fucking liar, terrible person, emotionally manipulative, wouldn't you assume that they would do like research all day and night on how to not appear to be exactly what they are? Why are they always the most transparent of individuals? Why can you always tell? I don't understand it. I guess it's because these terrible qualities coupled with also being a fucking moron is a recipe for disaster. I don't know.
Fucking kill myself tonight. I want to do it on my terms. I want to do it on my time. But the shit that I'm dealing with is making me fucking suicidal. And so please just leave me alone. Please. I tried to convince you. I tried to show you. Please just leave me alone.
The suicide story is what Boogie uses to justify every terrible.
Oh, dude, abso-fucking-lutely. Ashhole says, my go-to response is always, really? How? Then ask if they have access to means and a timeline. They have access and imminent timeline. I call law enforcement. Absolutely. I came to a place in my life where I don't play when it comes to that anymore. If somebody says that to me and they give me those details as well, you are getting a fucking wellness check called on you. And depending on how you respond to that interaction, potentially a fucking 5150 hold. Like, it is not my job. I don't have the tools to deal with that. And it's not fair to try and put that on me. So I couldn't agree with you more, Ashhole. Don't fucking play with me when it comes to that. Don't emotionally manipulate me in that way, because you're getting you're getting a wellness check. I hope you handle it appropriately.
Terrible life decision he made back in 2019.
Paid off the damn house and then in that home.
But dead people don't live in houses, Rich, and I didn't have enough.
But you're still, which I'm glad, but you're still here.
Yeah, well, I mean, mistakes happen.
Dead people don't live in houses, Boogie. You're right. But equally, dead people don't go to fucking VidCon and tell every cunt in sight that they're going to kill themselves. But that didn't fucking stop you, did it?
Dead people don't live in houses. Dead people don't live in houses. Like I said, dead people don't live in houses, Tommy.
I'll give you a break.
Know.
Well, you really? Like,
I'm serious though. Dead people don't. Dead people don't live in houses, man. Like,
you keep talking about killing yourself, Boogie. You keep not killing yourself. Can you try a little bit harder, please? The beginning of the end for Boogie came in the form of the Sam and Toki Reddit thread.
You know what? Do you want to know, though, something that is a small percentage of individuals, and I fear sometimes that Boogie may fall into this category? There are a certain type of specific narcissistic types that eventually do end up purposely succeeding to prove it to everyone who ever doubted them. It's not because they genuinely wish to die. It is a genuine fuck you to specific individuals. This is a very low percentage of people who fall into this category, but it is a specific narcissistic type that do. Ugh.
Where all of his lies, manipulation, and greed was archived and documented for all to see. Boogie made it very clear what he felt about these people.
but I want you to know, I think you are the lowest of the low. I think you are the worst of the worst. I think that there are fucking rapists and Nazis out there who, even though they are rapists and fucking Nazis, they are more redeemable than you, because at least they're doing something they fucking believe in.
And to be fair to him, there is a case to be made that Redditors are worse than rapists. He also claimed that he would rather be...
That's who he was saying is worse than... Oh, My God. He is also very known, he's known well for saying ridiculous things just like that. Oy vey.
And abused and then criticized on Reddit. Boogie then uses his default strategy of trying to get people to feel sorry for him. So he DMs people involved with this thread and tells them that Reddit has been harassing him relentlessly and he's been swatted multiple times in the month of December. People then checked the Fettyville public police records, which was something that Boogie hadn't thought of. So he comes up with a genius lie. The FBI.
You want to know something also? We didn't talk about this earlier when we were discussing the live stream for tonight, but immediately I questioned. Do you remember when he was like, "Oh, I think I'm being swatted," and then he was like, "No, it was just a pizza delivery." I don't even believe that occurred. How did that? And then he was like, "Well, I tipped them $5." In a matter of seconds? Like, he was so fucking obviously and clearly fucking lying about that tonight. He is such a liar. And he's a really, really, really bad one. Fuck.
FBI had told him to get involved.
I have a friend who works for the FBI, and I asked him how to deal with the online harassment that I get from a certain.
Caleb, please tell me, did you get the feeling that he was definitely fucking lying about that as well? He was so clearly fucking lying. That happened all too quickly. And he all of a sudden knew it was Papa John's instead. You gonna tell me his big ass fucking ran to the door? Yeah, I think all of it was bullshit. All of it. Nobody knocked on his fucking door. Nothing fucking occurred, period. Hug.
Subreddit, from kiwi farms, from places like that. And he told me the only way to fight that stuff back is to expose those people for what they really are.
And he claimed that he and the police department had made a secret, illegal agreement that all reports involving Boogie would be kept hidden. So Sam and Tolkien asked the police department if this was true, which is also something Boogie hadn't thought of. So Boogie activates his ultimate trap card. This was all part of his plan.
And yo, do you know what was a really big mistake for Boogie? Because it made me aware of his tells for when he's lying. I noticed the very huge difference in watching that live stream when he was very obviously lying and the difference for when he wasn't. And I'll tell you when I knew he was telling the truth. Do you remember when Keem was making a joke saying that maybe the reason why he doesn't want to share his health stuff is because maybe he has AIDS? Boogie's response to that joking allegation, it made me aware of his tells and what Boogie looks like without a shadow of a doubt when he's telling the truth and when he's lying. It was maybe the biggest mistake for Boogie to tell the truth about something because there was such a vast difference between when he's telling the truth and when he's clearly fucking lying.
The whole time. He wanted people to discover he was lying about the swatting. He wanted people to discover that he was lying about his agreement to the police. He wanted to trick his harassers into admitting publicly that he had received welfare checks, that he thinks is the same thing as swatting, even though it's the exact opposite of what swatting is. And these welfare checks were made with malicious, evil intent by these harassers, and not by the hundreds of people that he told he was going to kill himself. This also failed, so Boogie was forced to crack out the old faithful. Guys, someone hacked my PC and put that there.
In order to bait them like this, I had to lie. I mean, they've been calling me a liar and a manipulator this whole time, and I decided that I would just embrace it.
You really proved them all wrong, Boogie. Good job. Another thing that Boogie keeps saying is how Sam and Toki claim that he beat his ex-wife. I don't think I've actually seen anyone say that other than him. Most people seem to think he'd been physically incapable of attacking anyone. And after the Wings of Redemption fight,
I'm gonna skip ahead a bit. I'm not really interested in this part of his lying. I don't care. I want to get to this interesting part where it seems like they're talking about his abuse claims and his girlfriend. I'm very interested in that. So let's skip right ahead and see about this. Where does this begin?
homosexual the F word. Never in a million years would I call a homosexual an F word. Never. But would I use the term old fag or new fag on 4chan? Of course I would. Why?
When Turkey Tom made a video on him, Boogie decided to bring up Discord logs of Tom saying the N-word when he was 14 and used that to call him a racist.
I don't
like,
know you that
like
well, right?
the other day, you called me like a racist on Twitter. You claimed that I lied.
Oh, yeah,
about
you
your
definitely
reviews.
said some racist shit. And you, yeah.
But you
But
have
look-
too.
That's why
So
I
why
went
did
to
you call
London
me
and the rest of my
racist,
life.
though?
Because you said racist. It was racist. to say
But you
those
said
things.
racist stuff too. I think it's ridiculous for you to call me racist when I have people from other Boogie accounts combing through your old internet to find you saying even
Are
more
you
racist stuff
racist?
about
That's
black
out of
girls.
curiosity. Are you racist?
Am I racist?
Yeah. Like, do you dislike people of color?
No.
Boogie himself has said the
Boy.
N-word more than once as an adult, although he did lie and claim he only ever said it as a child, very quickly backpedaling.
All right, I'm skipping ahead. This shit as well. A little bit. Let's see. Ugh, the documentary. Let's go here.
Publicly brag about whatever girl he's paying to sleep with him, which is not even bragging rights. It's just sad. He kept tweeting out hints about one of his previous girlfriends and then kept getting annoyed when people tried to figure out who she was. Eventually, he tweeted out an image of her with her face cropped out, but people used a tattoo on her arm to figure out who she was. And guess what, fellas? She was a fucking prostitute. Thanks for playing the fucking game. Then she stopped talking to him and he got mad about it. But hey, you know,
Ugh.
maybe if you don't want people to find out your fucking girlfriend is, don't.
Yo, also, for those of you who don't know, a big part of Boogie lore is because he used to be quite successful on YouTube. So therefore, he made quite a lot of money at a time in his life. And he went admittedly broke. He spent all of his money on prostitutes. Like, oh my God.
Tweet hints about it, you fucking dumb cunt. You fat, you fat drunk, fucking fat, ugly piece of shit.
There was one girl that I dated. She liked a lot of childish things. She liked rubber ducks. That's why I have some of these rubber ducks. And one of my favorite memories with her.
You know, this is creepy. I didn't even put these two things together, but this is in the part of the documentary. So he dated on top of this very young girl, this very childish young girl that he's dating now. He also admittedly dated a girl who liked childish things. This is a reoccurring theme and it's really fucking creepy.
Is us sitting in this tub, her playing with rubber ducks as I washed her, and then when we got out, I took her to bed.
Ugh.
Best nights of my life, Mike. Happened right here.
One of your girlfriends was so young and childish that you kept rubber ducks around the house.
Did you fucking hear what he said? That was one of the best nights of his life. They played with child's toys in the bath, and then he put her to fucking bed like he's her dada. And that was one of the... I am so fucking horrified.
You know, I remember someone else doing a similar thing.
Now you might say, what are 4 plastic ducks doing on the bed? Here's whose house it is.
He really is the Jimmy Savile of YouTube. Then he hypes up the reveal of his newest 20-year-old girlfriend, eventually revealing the beauty when he tweeted her out, here she is. Oh, bro ain't being the pedophile allegation. But then Boogie makes another tweet and another tweet and another tweet and another and another and another and another and another. And at a certain point, I don't want to defend him against the guys calling him a pedophile because he clearly wants people to call him a pedophile.
On paper.
Do you know what I don't like? Kayla says DDLG perhaps. That means daddy, daughter, little girl. It's a kink genre. And, you know, it's really popular nowadays to say, oh, well, I don't want to kink shame. Sometimes I think we should kink shame, especially under the circumstances when it's a 50-year-old fucking man dating a 20-year-old who is so childlike. There's something here, guys. And he's dating a woman who liked childish things. Like, there is something fucking here. Yuck.
It just doesn't really add up, right? It doesn't make sense on paper, but then practice and in reality, there was just something there.
Dude, that picture that they just showed of his girlfriend now, she looks like a fucking 14-year-old. Forget how old she actually is. She looks fucking 14.
Was it like Rohypnol and chains?
Growing up without a father figure has its challenges.
Oh, I've solved
Here we
it.
go.
You know, I think I figured out this mystery.
I would say that it's the best I ever had. What? You are.
You know, believe it or not, he's even better than my uncle. If I knew sex...
The best she's ever had, she's fucking 5 years old. This is probably the only she's ever fucking had. That's the sad reality. This is probably the only sexual experience she's ever had in her whole life. Yikes.
was this good, I would have been awake for it. This is the best consensual sex I've ever had.
Sexually, we both seem to be having an excellent time.
We both enjoy it. You know, I know she enjoys it because there's little to no resistance. Boogie's wife left him because he was using her as a live-in maid and caretaker, and she was kind enough to wait until after his weight loss surgery before leaving him. That doesn't elicit...
That, when he was married to his of-age, long-term relationship wife, ex-wife, that is when Boogie was at his most normal seeming. That is when he was the most well-liked on the internet also. I wonder if there's any kind of... I wonder if there's any meaning there. I don't fucking know.
Much sympathy from Boogie, however.
My ex-wife was a very angry person. My ex-wife was a little bit on the plus side. When I say a little bit, I mean fairly.
Was
large.
she?
He met his new girl, Desi, through...
Was she? Why did I always think she was thin? Didn't we see pictures of her? I thought she was like a skinny, like nerdy kind of woman with glasses. Am I totally fucking wrong?
Instagram, where apparently they trauma bonded, and within 2 months they're living together.
Why is that? I mean, there's a lot of guys. There's billions, really. What makes Boogie so special?
What makes Boogie so special is that.
Yikes.
Oh, that's not what you want to hear. Oh, what makes that? Ooh, what makes him special? He doesn't smell as bad as you'd think he would. What else? He's got enough teeth. You know, not all of them. Boogie claims that Desi is the only good thing in his life, and that dying due to obesity would destroy her completely.
I mean, my biggest fear is dying on her. If I die in the next 2 or 3 years on her, that's just going to ruin her life.
My risk for stroke or heart attack is astronomical. And I'm so fucking sorry for that.
Ugh, this is what I mean when I talked about the emotional manipulation that was displayed in this documentary. This is so fucking cruel and unusual to do to a childlike 20-year-old. Like, holy fucking shit.
I really wish I had taken better care of my body.
If only there was some way I could lose this weight. If only there was a place I could go that was designed for people to lose weight. If only that was a thing. Unfortunately, it turned...
You know how fucking abusive it is that he says, oh, I wish I had taken better care of my body. You know, you have the option to start doing that today, right? You know, like you're not dead yet. There's always today to begin taking care of yourself. But the way he paints it, it's like it's a death sentence that he has no control over. Like, this is why people have no sympathy for the health struggles that he actually has, because they see it as his own fault, like of his own making. Yikes.
Turns out that his soulmate and the love of his life cannot possibly measure up to a KFC bucket meal. Watching the documentary, it's pretty obvious what he wants out of women, and it's not love or companionship. He wants a permanent in-house maid / sex servant. I'd almost go as far as to say that he can't feel love or affection. Back in 2017, Boogie was a millionaire making around $500,000 in a year, and 6 years on, he has gone from that to a financially destitute, soon-to-be homeless person. Like all formerly successful YouTubers who've fallen off, Boogie refuses to get a normal job and intentionally sabotages himself anytime it's brought up.
I mean, to be fair, though, like, what could he actually do at this point? Especially since he's so used to what many consider easy money and more money that he'd ever be capable of making otherwise. Like at this point, like this is his only option. These are the reasons why it was so ridiculous that he was willing to spit in the face of Keem, the only person who seems to care about his fucking financial stability, has continuously saved him and carried him online. Like all of these reasons is what makes him so much of a fucked up friend to Keem specifically.
Tell me a little bit about your background and where you think you want to go with the experience that you already have.
I did work at a small gaming store back in 2006, 2007. I am disabled, recognized by the state of Arkansas, but also the United States government. There's that. Now, the downside to that is I am extremely depressed. So there's some mental health issues that we bring to the table. And then physically, I am morbidly obese. I have no references.
Shadow Hair says he could probably do customer service from home. I mean, of course, that's a possibility, but I want you to know that nowadays, especially if you're talking remote work, nowadays, even you need some pretty significant experience for them to even consider you. So I don't even know if that would be a viable option for him because he has none. Like, what would you put on a resume? That you were a fucking YouTuber for the past 15 years? I don't think, a company such as that is not going to want to hire you for those reasons.
No work history and no education. And I beat my ex-wife, and I'm also a pedophile.
Oh shit, a fat, disabled, gay pedophile who beats his wife? With a CV like that, who can say no?
Was that edited? Was that deceptively edited? Or did he actually fucking say those things? What the fuck?
So I think there are some avenues you could explore. I definitely don't think it's impossible, but you have some challenges.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hollywood, the Catholic Church, you got shit tons of options. You're practically built for California.
I did work in the porn industry for the better part of 7 years. So, I mean...
Be real with
me. He did? He worked in the porn industry for the better... When? And Yo. Do you know what else we never talked about? I can't believe I forgot to bring this up. Do you guys remember? Holy shit. In the first LolCow live stream where he was called out by Destiny, do you remember? He tried to pull this shit where he was going to make another big confession that he had never made before. And he admitted to like defending himself and hitting his girlfriend or his ex-wife or somebody in self-defense. And obviously in hopes that the conversation was going to switch to that. Do you guys remember that fucking embarrassing failed attempt? I can't believe I didn't bring this up sooner. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? That shit was so fucking pathetic to watch. Holy Christ. Becca says he was a web developer, if I remember correctly, and he worked on... Okay, if that's the case, then that is a viable like job experience and a job option. If he has like web development capabilities, he could definitely get a job doing that. And he could probably make good money doing that. Kayla says that doc is worth a watch. Channel is Mike Klum. Yeah, I've watched it. It was one of the most depressing and pathetic and disgusting, grotesque displays I've ever fucking seen. Like, as far as documentaries go, I left, like, the whole time I watched it, I felt a very uneasy feeling. And at the end, I think I felt even worse. For those of you who've not watched the documentary, I suggest that you do. And like Kayla says, it's on the channel Mike Klum. Ham and Bean says, I'm not above hitting a woman. I had a girl pull a knife on me and told me she was going to slit my throat, and then she got her ass kicked. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm all for if you're being threatened in some type of way physically, you're allowed to defend yourself. That's why I will never understand what type of fucking revelation he thought he was exposing when he said that. It was such an obvious and pathetic fucking attempt to shift the conversation. Oy vey. What did he think was going to happen when he divulged that big secret? And what kind of a big fucking secret do you think that is with all of the shit you told online already anyway? Like, get fucking real. Yikes.
Do you really think it would be a good idea to go to a real interview and reference porn?
It depended on the job, I would think.
He's right. If he were applying for the role of fuck pig, he'd probably be on the shortlist. McDonald's, though? Not so much. I doubt they'd even take him as produce. I don't understand the mentality of these people. You know, I've seen your content. You're not putting in a 15-hour workday. Kidding. Okay, you're not married.
That connectivity, you realize your hands are basically like USB ports.
Well, this man is clearly insane.
So these are the
fuck.
It's crazy to think.
What the fuck is he doing? Okay, I'm not being funny. I think this guy's a date rapist. Yeah, I'd say run, but this guy is going to rape you.
I think that's something.
Is this in the documentary? I forgot this part. What the fuck part of the documentary was this? And why don't I remember this part?
It just grows out of the ground, has so much power, and I'm actually holding it in my hand
Oh, they're talking about shrooms. Okay, maybe I do remember this part.
right now. But here we go.
Ugh.
There you go. Get that down, your son.
Broken
because he thought it would make him look he's fake right now.
To pay for boxing.
Oh no, Mike
lessons.
Klum said on my live stream he fudged those numbers. He didn't get those numbers from me. He'll openly tell you.
And so hold on.
he
You
openly
watched
said
this
it.
documentary before it came out in its entirety, and we're okay with that then?
I didn't pay attention to the numbers like most of the text. Like
boxing financials were all fake. His yearly earnings were fake. The interview was fake. Basically, everything that made him look bad was fake. When his girlfriend says, even if Boogie was cheating on me, I'd stay with him.
So if he cheated, I'm not gonna break up with him because I love him and it's gonna hurt, yeah.
Ugh. See, you know, it's those parts of the documentaries, like what she says here. She is so clearly like not all there mentally. Like, where do you need to be at to say that, oh, if he cheated on me, I wouldn't break? What the fuck? Like, I'm telling you, this girl needs help. She needs to be saved. She needs help.
We're gonna talk about it. To see him with, to see Boogie with another woman, it would hurt and it would make me jealous, but I'd get it.
Even if Boogie was raping me, I'd stay with him. That was like, you know, she's shit, don't listen to her.
What she's basically saying, and this makes me very, very scared for her, and it makes me judge the fuck out of him, is there is nothing he could do to her that would make her withdraw her love from him, her love and loyalty from him. I'm telling you, it really takes the lowest level of human being that you can find, that you can imagine, to be willing to take advantage of somebody like this. I am so fucking disturbed. I feel like I purposely forgot these specific parts of the documentary on purpose because they were just so fucking disturbing. I can't even imagine what this girl's everyday life must look like. I feel so sorry for her.
But she doesn't know what she's saying.
She even sat there and was like, if you cheat on her, she'll still let it go because you're a YouTuber.
yeah, we had a really good moment.
Response,
We
by
had
the
a really
way?
good moment on the live stream the other night, and she came in there. I'm like, baby, if I ever cheat on you, you got to promise me you'll cut my dick off. And she's like, of course. Yeah, she's got social anxiety. She's like me. She says silly shit sometimes when the pressure's on.
It's always a good sign when you have to specifically tell your significant other, you know what? You don't have to stay with me if I rape you. If I rape you, if I abuse you, you know, you don't have to stay. Always a good sign. Now that you've seen just how much Boogie is willing to lie, I'm going to hit you with the final point that no one else is willing to make. I'm the only one brave enough to question it. In a way, it's the perfect lie. Because what kind of dickhead, heartless cunt would question a man's torturous tale of horrific childhood abuse? This guy. Every time Boogie brings up his abuse, the context or
Here we
story just seems to
go.
totally shift.
Here we go, guys. This is what we were looking for.
The first video talking about being abused, he's crying and blubbering about this woman who took advantage of him.
One of the women I dated had manipulated me and convinced me that I was going to be one of the fattest men in the world, that I was going to be bedridden, and that she was going to feed me to death for her own sexual gratification. Hard to admit that. She exploited my depression and my suicidal tendencies, and I was right along with her.
And the next time he tells the story, this was epic. It was awesome. Best experience of my life, better than my marriage.
It was like one of the best experiences of my life. I was like, this is awesome.
One of the stories he keeps telling is about how his mother smashed down a door with a hammer and beat him over the head with it. The story is usually generally correct, but when you get into the details, it's always wrong. First time he tells the story, he references a scar and points to it. Then the next time he tells the story, he references to the same scar, except this time he points to the opposite side of his head. You thought no one would fucking pick up on that, Buggy, did you? But I fucking did. I picked up on it, you fat. You fat.
Yeah, guys, I'm telling you seriously, I question everything.
Fuck! One time she split his skull, next time she just scratched his scalp.
I still have the scar where she split my skull right at the hairline. Hammer
Pardon?
around, and instead of hitting me with the hard end, which could eat.
What I said was, at this point, I am questioning everything he's ever shared, and maybe not 100% of everything he's shared has been lies, but I think I'm definitely questioning the details, and even more so the intention behind why he's sharing what he does. Like, at this point, you have to question everything he's ever said. It's his own fucking fault, too.
Easily have cracked my skull. She hit me with the claw end, which just kind of scratched the scalp pretty hard and caused me to bleed.
It's not just this story. There are issues with most of them. His sister was taken away from home because it was known she was being abused.
My sister got taken out of her home because of the abuse she received. She was, I think, 13 or 14. They left me there for some reason. I'll never understand that.
But then sometimes his sister wasn't taken away by Child Protective Services. Sometimes she was just put up for adoption by his mother.
Eventually, mom just turned her over to foster care, to the child services, and just let her go. And that left me alone in the home. And
I mean, those two are drastically different fucking things. This is one of his stories. This is unironically one of his stories. Him and his mother in a car. They're driving in front of his school at like 30 miles an hour, right? His mother is like scratching his eyes with her fingers.
Yes, I mean, Becca, that's exactly what I mean. Becca said something had to have happened to make him this messed up, but I don't believe the details. Absolutely, that's exactly what I mean. I mean, it's clear that because, like, I know we say like the nature versus nurture conversation, with some different things, you can be born a certain way, but with others, it can be, your environment and who raised you and how. But it's pretty clear that something occurred, but it boils down to the details. It boils down to the details, to the exaggeration of details, the changing of stories, the intention behind why he's sharing, the way he paints himself in these stories with these details. Everything comes into question in regards to that as a result of his numerous fucking times caught lying. Like, it's too much at this point.
Just because she's like a witch. But he opens the door. He dives out onto the concrete, right? He's like rolling along in front of every single one of the kids. All the faculty members are watching this kid jump out of a fucking 30-mile-per-hour moving vehicle, rolling along the concrete, getting all scratched up, right? They're watching it. Don't give a shit. Don't give a shit. You know what I think that is? I think that's fucking bullshit. Like, fuck, that happened. That is retarded. It's very simple stuff. You're a bad guy for questioning it. You see, his parents raped him multiple times, but actually it only happened once. But he actually wasn't ever raped. He was only ever molested. But his mother hated sex and was never sexual with him at all. How is this hard for you to understand? I think it's interesting that he claims he wasn't abused at all. And his mother apparently also said she'd never abuse him.
You know what's interesting as well? And I don't know if he's going to bring it up, but I think it's very interesting that he only began speaking of these allegations against his mother once she had passed. Now, I know that sometimes people who have been abused are only comfortable sharing the realities of what they've experienced after someone has passed. But like I said, because of what we know about Boogie, I call everything comes into question now. And it's very, I think it's an important thing to remember, is all. Ay. I think over exaggeration is I think there's a huge potential for severe over exaggeration and painting oneself the victim with purpose. Yikes. Because if you ever realize, he also goes out of his way to somehow, like, he's always the victim and sometimes even the hero of the story, while simultaneously being the victim at the same time. Like, it's such a strange, fucked up dynamic.
Until his brother and sister were no longer in the house, where suddenly this horrific abuse starts when there's no one around to actually confirm it.
I watched it happen. It didn't happen to me very often. I was very lucky in that regard. The 8-year-old me, 10-year-old me really never got hit very often. I got spanked. I got slapped in the face a little bit, but nothing I would really consider abuse, just, child rearing at the time in the late 70s. And the reason for that is because mom had felt she had already screwed up my brother and screwed up my sister. And she had me as late in life as she could because I was the one that she was going to not screw up. So she tried her best not to hurt me. But eventually my brother went off to college. My sister continually ran away. She ran away at the age of 11, the age of 12. Eventually, mom just turned her over to foster care, to the child services. And that left me alone in the home. And it just kind of went downhill from there.
But then at the same time, he claims that his brother and sister were actually witnesses to his abuse. But don't actually ask them, guys. Come on. Don't ask them. So in regards to this abuse, there's no witnesses. The only people who confirm or deny it are dead. And all the information in regards to it is coming from a pathological liar and self-admitted covert narcissist who also just so happened to be writing a book about it. The worst thing Boogie's probably ever done was when he accused his own sister, who is also a victim of abuse, of raping him. After being called out on this, he started walking it back. And then he blamed his brother for the allegations, claiming that his brother had gaslighted him into thinking his sister had raped him.
So, like, my mom and my dad did fucked up shit to me.
Oh my God. I wonder what his brother would have to say hearing things like that. Like, holy shit, dude. I would imagine, or I wonder, does he tell his brother, like, oh, I'm playing a character. Everything I say online is not to be taken seriously. That Boogie 2988 is just another character, the same as Francis is. I would imagine that that's probably what he tells the people in his actual real life, because there's no way in hell they've not heard these clips, heard these fucking ludicrous allegations. His brother gaslit him into thinking, like, what the fuck, man?
And whether or not my sister did fucked up shit to me is apparently debatable, so it's not something I talk about anymore.
But why is the sister part questionable? That's the reason. That's what I was going to ask.
Because, like, so me and my brother were talking a bunch of like 5-6 years back, and he's like,
that is such a great point. Sylvail says a person only does something over and over if it's gotten them some sort of payout. The organism does what made the organism successful in the past. That is such an excellent point. And that is the main reason why I think it's a huge mistake for Keem to let this shit slide in regards to him lying about having cancer, because it is going to teach him, it's going to reinforce a horrible fucking lesson to Boogie. It's such a mistake. I understand where he's coming from. I understand what he's trying to do, but it is such enabling behavior that will be detrimental to both Keem and his reputation and to Boogie long term. In terms, like, he needs to learn a fucking lesson from this huge, egregious fucking lie he's told. This needs to be the line in the fucking sand where the internet tells him that he has made a mistake and he can no longer profit from being an egregious fucking malicious liar. He can no longer profit from painting himself the victim. Like, he needs to learn some way. Like, oh man. You know, I think I'm going to leave off on that. I think I'm going to sign off on that, and I think I'm going to leave that on screen because it is so that needs to be the fucking thesis of all of this. That needs to be the lesson that is learned, man. Like, holy shit. And I've got to say also, it always fucks me up. Like, I don't understand. Why isn't there a community like Chantel's, like Foodie Beauties around Boogie? You know what I mean? Like, why are all of these women, all of these people spending all their time hating somebody like Chantel when there are people out here deserving of fucking hate like Boogie? Like, it always blows my mind and I'll never understand it. I don't know, man. What up, Kate? Kate said, is this an old kill stream? Ralph isn't zannied out enough. Oh, I didn't even realize that he was fucking talking to Ralph. That's not Boogie.
Like,
is
we're
it?
talking about mom and dad and the shit they
No,
did
who's
to us.
this?
And like, he's like, you know, Carla did this shit to you too. And I'm like, what? And like, I started getting memories of what the fuck
Who is this person on screen? At first, I thought it was Boogie, and then I noticed that Boogie's not even on screen at all.
happened. So like, I talked about it online, and then like,
I'm unfamiliar with Ralph. I never watched him. I don't even know his lore. But I'm going to sign off, guys. We shall reconvene tomorrow and talk about the regular topics at hand. I'm done with Boogie. I am curious to see going forward if the internet allows for him to continue down this fucking path. I don't know. Do you think the internet's going to allow him? Do you think Keem's going to allow him to profit off of painting himself the victim and lying about things as serious as cancer? God, I hope not. I don't know. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, guys. Ugh.